I grew up in the average, middle class white family. It was expected of me to follow the typical school rules and to stay on grade level when it came to reading and writing. My mom was a school teacher, so she enforced reading upon me at a young age. I am an average reader that understands the general topic from books, a strong writer that enjoys writing, and a literate person who learned literacy through family. The first literacy practice that I can remember is listening to my parents read me bedtime stories. I remember reading everything possible to Richie as a baby. We'd drive by McDonald's and I'd tell him the golden arches were a big yellow letter M. So I was teaching colors and letters at every opportunity. When we ate, I'd say M, mmm, and rub my belly, letting him know the sound M makes. We'd read at every opportunity. The house was full of books and cloth books. It is full of books now. I am always reading as a young child we read to him every night before he went to sleep. We lay him down in bed with him. We have wonderful memories of that high quality family time. Establishing a love of reading and learning at a young age is very important. With that, my mother became my first literacy sponsor. She shaped the way for my reading throughout school. I was never a really great reader and I actually started under grade level, but with the constant help from my mom and from her natural teaching skills, she boosted me on and actually above grade level. I was extremely fortunate to have a mother be like my personal teacher. I feel like that set me apart from the other kids in my class and gave me an edge over them. A literacy sponsor, according to Branda, is any agents, local or distant, concrete or abstract, who enable, support, teach, and model, as well as recruit, regulate, suppress, or withhold literacy, and gain advantage by it in some way. Listening to the bedtime stories prepared me for the type of reading I participated in kindergarten. My teacher would have story time and gather the class in a circle on the floor. Because I was used to getting stories read to me, I was able to listen to the teacher and actually picture the story she was reading to us in my head. I could imagine the plate of green eggs of ham from the book Green Eggs and Ham, and how scared the teacher must have appeared in The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. Every time my parents read me a story, I was able to imagine the words they were saying to me and create an image of it in my head. Listening to these stories also began the way I was able to pronounce each letter from the alphabet. My mother would read a word, and if I didn't understand it, she would reread the word slower to me until I was able to say the word back to her. Doing this taught me the initial shape of letters and how to properly identify the sounds each letter makes. One particular story I remember reading with my mother is The Giving Tree. My mom would read the story and I would look at the pictures and follow on to the words she was reading to me, because at the time I couldn't read. I felt refreshed after this activity because I got to listen to my mom read me my favorite book and I gained a little knowledge like how to read. Another extremely important literacy sponsor in my life was my grandmother. She was the first person who encouraged me to write my name for the first time. I was familiar with the words and was able to see the shape of the word, but I wasn't able to write the shape down onto paper. With the help from my grandmother, I learned how to write my name and basic words at a very young age. This practice helped me become a stronger writer because to be able to write the words, I first had to read the word and recognize the letters that were in that word. From what I recall, this was my first literacy event. A literacy event, according to Heath: any occasion in which a piece of writing is integral to the nature of participants' interactions and their interpretive processes. Basically, a literacy event is a moment in your life that shapes the way you read, write, and interpret literacy. Since my grandma taught me how to write my name, this started the way I learned to write, thus making this my first significant literacy event. It all began with my grandma hyping me up to write my name. I wasn't a strong reader, and anything that had to do with reading and writing I wanted no part of. To make my grandma happy, I followed her orders and got a whiteboard and marker because I hated the traditional paper and pen. This is how the event happened from what I remember. Okay, first, follow me. Now you try.
Alright, Grandma. How does this look?
Very good. Now do the rest of the letters.
Keep messing up. Oh my gosh! Grandma, look! I did it! I wrote my name!
I knew you could, grandson. I'm very proud of you. Tomorrow, I'm going to teach you how to write your last name.
Sounds great, Grandma. Thanks. I was so excited and enthused that I actually persevered and wrote my name for the first time ever in my life. I couldn't get enough of it. I wrote my name probably 6 times after that just because I was in shock. I could not only read words but write them on paper. Also, it was sentimental to me because I was writing my own personal name. That's a big deal when you're just a young kid. The next day I learned how to write my last name with only a limited amount of tries compared to the day before. From that day on, I was always looking forward to writing, not just in school but also at home. This event sparked the strong writer that I am today, and I can't thank my grandma enough for it. Another significant literacy event in my life was when I read my first chapter book. This was a literacy practice because I was below grade level in reading, so I had to practice twice as hard to be able to read chapter books. From the encouragement of my mom and self-perseverance, I read my first chapter book. A literacy practice is a literacy in your everyday life where you practice or use the skill of writing and or reading without even realizing it. Reading didn't come easy to me. I didn't enjoy reading and I was failing this subject. After 2 years of tutoring and countless reading nights with my mom, I was able to read my first chapter book cover to cover. The more practice I did with my tutor and at home with my mom, the easier reading came to me. After reading my first book, I had the confidence to read many more chapter books, from The Magic Treehouse to Captain Underpants. I became more excited to read, and I even surpassed the average reading level at my school. I'm the literate person I am today thanks to the help from my family. They've been nothing but supportive throughout my literate career, and they continually offer me advice to keep my literacy above par. From my grandma teaching me how to write, and my mother pushing me to read every day, I'm truly thankful and blessed to have the loving family I have, and they have made me the literate person that I am to this very day. I'm an avid reader from the practice of my mom reading me bedtime stories, and a strong writer who enjoys writing from the event of my grandma teaching me how to write my name.